Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am Brendan TA from the Altis Life RPG forums, and I'm here today to present you with a tutorial on how to install 3.1.4 Altis Life with the extDB build. Now, this is a very simple tutorial if you follow the instructions properly. If you do not follow the instructions properly, I can't guarantee you it'll work. Now, I have a dedicated box here that I'm going to be using, and some of the stuff that you'll see here, you will either have to work something out differently. Like if you rent a box from, let's just say, Bilayer or some other server host, you may need to get, sometimes they provide a MySQL server for you, sometimes they don't. In other cases, sometimes the MySQL server, they won't let you connect to it because of port forwarding and stuff. So please check these details from your hoster before you go out and buy a server. Alrighty, so first we have to download the Arma 3 files. Okay, so you got to open up the Steam CMD. I'll put the link for this in the description, and basically when you first open it, oh yeah, by the way, this tutorial is for Windows if you haven't already figured that out. Alrighty, so when you first open it, as you can see, it installs the Steam packages. Now what you have to do is you have to do login, but you have to put your username with Arma 3. Now you may be wondering, why do I have to do that? Well, what you're doing is you're logging into the Steam database or the Steam public, and it'll notice what games and stuff you have currently purchased. Now, I'm going to type in my password, but for this part, I'm probably going to skip it. So I'll probably stop the recording and pick it right back up here, because partially just for a security matter, I do not want anyone figuring out my password. And yes, it does show. So if you have someone watching your screen while you're doing this, yes, your password does show. If you want me to prove it for you, there you go. Alrighty, anyways, I'll be right back. Alrighty folks, I'm now back, and as you can see here, once I've logged in, you want to use this command. You want to go app_update and then space 107410. Click that. Now what it will start to do is it will now start to download Arma 3 on your dedicated server. Depending on how fast your server is, depending on the internet connection, depending on all these features, it'll take quite a decent amount of time. So I recommend you just leave and just come back later. But as for if you have a hosted server, typically, again, they're already going to have all these files downloaded for you. So I'll probably put a link in the description or a little annotation somewhere on the monitor so that you can just skip to the part, non-setting up a dedicated server where it affects everyone. But again, as for this is mainly for a dedicated server. I may make another tutorial for hosting servers, but there's some out there that already make them for you. So if you're really new to Altis Life, I suggest you probably go with one of those. But if you're really eager to learn, maybe you can check out another tutorial if I actually do one. I know I said I would do one of these tutorials a long time ago on the forums, or a few weeks back ago. I have been really busy with my community, and I have not yet had the time. But now that I have the time, you see me doing it. Alrighty, so I'm going to come right back when this is all finished downloading, and we'll continue from there. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am back now. As you can see, I now have Arma 3 downloaded, and now what we're going to do, this is for dedicated servers only. I'm going to install a MySQL server on my dedicated server. Now, I use XAMPP. Okay, XAMPP, really, really good. You can install an FTP server, this is all in one program. You can make your Apache server, you can do your FileZilla server, you can do your MySQL server, all in this one program. It's really great. See, you get to choose the options here. So, as of right now, I'm just going to install, it automatically already installs the Apache, which is your website, and stuff like that, but I'm just going to have it install the MySQL for now. So I'll just install that. Folder's not empty. Well, I'll just double check that real quick. Okay, delete. Alrighty, so once it's done deleting, we're just going to install this now, and uncheck that. Next. Alrighty. So it'll be installing XAMPP, and basically, once we've installed the MySQL server, we're going to try and connect to it using Navicat Lite, or you can try and use, on some servers it works, on some servers it doesn't. You can try and use the PHP MyAdmin that it automatically comes with it. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do, but in the meantime, I'm just going to probably play some music here as we wait. Alrighty, I'm now back. As you can see, it is finished, done installing here. So now we're just gonna keep that checkmark chart. So now you see you have the control panel. Alrighty. So again, like I said, this is usually very, very easy to do. You just click start, starts it up. Usually green means it's running, or maybe it's shut down. Now, sometimes if you get this error, by the way, this error is usually caused of a firewall security issue. So I'll be right back, and I'm not going to be able to help you guys out with this error, but I'm going to fix this myself, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, now I'm back. Now it should work this time. Alrighty, so now it's running. It's working good. Now sometimes, again, this is the PHP My Admin part. You could click admin. Sometimes it works, like I said. Sometimes it doesn't. For me, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to work. I'm fine with that. So, in the meantime, what you're going to use then to connect to it is use Navicat. I'll provide also a link in the description below for you to get Navicat. Now, connections, MySQL, connection, name, I'll just call it Altis, life, I don't know, server. Okay then. Root, yeah, it's fine. You try and connect. As you see, we connected just fine. Alrighty, so now we're going to be setting up the database. Now, this now applies to, here's where all the other people are going to come back in for the people who have bought MySQL servers, okay? So this is when now you'll go into the extDB build. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. You will go and you'll grab this file here. It's called the Arma 3 Life-3.1.4.mysql. I use Notepad++. Also put this link in the description. This is what you will use this program to edit a lot of the majority of files within Altis Life. Okay, so basically all you have to do here is run this, pretty much. So let's see here. If we go to query, or if we can go to execute SQL file, that's what the one you're looking for. All right, now you browse for the file. Desktop. Found the file. Open. Now I'm just going to say continue on error. Start. Executed successfully. Start. Okay, so I'm assuming it did everything all right. If we look here, and I think if we refresh, you'll see we now have Arma 3 Life. Open that database, tables. As you can see, we have our new tables right there, and that's where it's going to store your players' information. So if you'd like to look at it, click Open Table, and it shows you, all the players there, the houses. Same for gangs and vehicles. Alrighty, database now set up. Okay, so what left do we have to do? Now we have to set up the Arma server as well. Now, if I'm correct, extDB or Arma 3, there we go. And I'll slide it over here. Okay. Alrighty now. So we'll go into the extDB build, part of the Altis Life master file, and you'll see these two folders in there. As for the Life server, this is very simple. You use the PBO manager, which I'll also put that link in the description. You pack it to life_server.pbo. Okay, good. Now, as for this, you can also pack it into a PBO, which I highly recommend. Okay, once you pack that into a PBO, all you gotta do is copy that, np missions, paste that in there. Alrighty. No, now, for the life server, what you have to do is first create an @_life_server. Okay. Now, basically this is a mod, but you'll see in the end. So then we add add-ons. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to grab that PBO, the life_server, and put it into the add-ons folder. Alrighty. Now what we want to do is copy that, paste it in the main directory, and ba-bam, ba-wow, there it is. Okay. Now on to extDB. As we go to the stable build, I'm using version 7. You'll see Windows_release version 7. That's the one I'm going to be using. Whether if you want to use it or not use it, that's completely up to you. So as you'll see, we'll put it in. There it is. Okay, but that's not all. Now we have the database configuration file that we also need to put in as well. Now when we put that in, we need to go and edit it with Notepad++. Now, as you can see here, we have all this stuff. Now, since it's running off of the dedicated server, username is just going to be root, password is just going to be blank, localhost 3306. Save that, control up, just reopen that, I believe. Alrighty, once you've done that, you'd click Control S to save it, and that should be done as well. Now, what I'm going to use, if you have a dedicated server, I highly recommend you use this, but it's a dedicated server tool, and I'll also put a link for that in the description below. Basically, copy that bad boy, come over here, paste that bad boy, run this, and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, here it is. So it's Tofi's Arma dedicated server tool. Alright, you can change the port of your server, you can put the max players, you can put, enable the headless client, your log files, your server extra parameters, server files, all this good stuff. Rules, So anyways, I'm going to go through a quick little setup here, and hopefully it should work. So let's see here. I'm just going to put Altis life tutorial, okay, password. That's the password of your server. Then the admin password is what you use to log in as an admin. In the rules, I usually disable voting because that's what you actually want to do. You have to disable voting. As for verify signatures, I usually do version 2. Requires secure ID 2. Kick duplicates, persistent battlefield, battle eye. All these need to be checked except for that one. That's up to you. But basically, kick duplicates. It kicks anyone with a duplicate player ID. This it requires, you can read them here, but it requires a validated player ID as well. In the missions, you select the mission right here. Okay. Mods, extDB, @life_server. Difficulty, keep it at regular. Just keep it at regular. You know what I mean? As for performance, now here's where you really need to check if you have a dedicated box. If you're just doing off of a server hoster, you wouldn't even be using this program. As again, I would have to make a different separate video tutorial if you're buying a hoster, but if you're on a dedicated box, these settings would be in like the basic config and I think the server.config, and you want to edit these, just at the maximum and minimum bandwidth of your server. I'm going to leave these alone for now because it's just a tutorial and I don't really care, how my server performance is. So anyways, once you set up all this stuff, like really I'm just going to make it test. Max players, I'm just going to make it 50. Just really basic stuff. Once you've done all this, it should work. Now, I'm going to keep this all on footage, okay? So if it doesn't work, I'm going to let you guys see this. I don't really know if it'll work because I have yet to actually try it. But, you never know. It's up to you. Okay, so inbound rules. I think I already have it enabled. Yeah, I do. Okay. If we click launch, that's right. You need to, I forgot this. You have to select a server file, otherwise known as your Arma 3 server. Okay, launch. Okay. So now basically what it's going to be doing is going to be launching the Arma 3 server. And I'll be right back, and I'm probably going to start recording my game next. as you can see now, I'm in game and you can see the server, and I got in. Now, don't join as cop the first time, because remember, it has to put your name in the database, and you're not yet whitelisted to be a cop. Okay, so you click OK, and over there on the server side, it is now reading the mission, which it'll read all the files, and then once it's read all the files, it'll then start to send it to you. This should only take about 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how big your mission file is. Alrighty, as you can see, now the server has fully read the file and is now sending me the mission file. Again, this is all live, non-cut. Everything's been going good so far. I'm glad to see all this, but we're not out of the woods yet. We still, we'll know if the database connection is secure and everything once it's fully downloaded. Alrighty. Again, you'll know if I jacked up somewhere along the lines if you see an error here. Because this is probably the most crucial part, is when you're actually getting in and you're spawning in. Okay, sending requests to player information. It's currently trying to send my player ID. And here's where I think it's jacked up. Okay, so in this stage, if you get this error, typically it means you're probably not making a connection to the database. Now, I'm going to go double check my settings, and I'll let you guys watch. Alrighty, so as you can see here, I'm over here. This is the thing I was talking about real quick, where you can see, you know, mission, reading mission, mission read, game started. Okay, so as you can see, my game, obviously not, you know, sending the request properly. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually go to Navicat, and I'm going to make a different user. So when I open the connection to it, okay, and I open the database, let me just double check and see if it actually even created anything. All right, good. Okay, so user, I'm going to make a new user. Okay, username, we're going to call this Arma 3 host, local host, password test, password test. Alrighty, advanced, actually, yeah, we have to do this as well. Server privileges, I have to give all these server privileges as well. Okay, yeah. Isn't there like a check all button here? No? Okay. I can't click this. Okay, well anyways, if you can, give your guy all the permissions. You know. Okay. Privileges. Spell preview save. Okay. So we have Arma 3 now. So what I think happened is, I think in the extDB, if you go to that config file again, notice how I left it blank. Now I think what I need to do is I really just need to, here's a big part of the problem actually. Big part of the problem is I left the database name there. Sorry about that. Turns out I should really have the database name on hand. So the database name, if you use the default database name, would be, should just be, if I'm correct, you just type in Arma 3 life. You can see how that works as well. Or actually, hold on, that's not what you want to edit. What you want to edit is you want to go over here down to test, and you want to change that to Arma 3 life. Okay, change that to your database name. As for the username, I'm going to change mine to the Arma 3. As for the password, change that to test. Now, you will have to restart your server. So you can just close that down, minimize that, and we'll go back over to the server stall here, and click launch. Alrighty, and then I'll meet you guys back in game yet again. In fact, I'm going to move that over here, monitor, and okay. Arma 3. Alright, so there you go. Now you guys are seeing my game, and it's on my other monitor. It It is now creating the dedicated host and all this other good stuff. Alrighty. As you can see, it popped up. Test, connect. It's gonna connect and civilian. Okay. Reading mission. Now, it has to read your server mission PBO every time, I guess I'll say. But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean every player has to download it every time. It just has to read it because it assumes, you know, it's just a brand new start. You know, who knows? Maybe the mission PBO could have changed. So it has to double check it. So now it just read the mission, and I'm just gonna wait real quick here, and it should send me the information required. Like, there's just some, I think, background information that needs to be sent, like the live server or something. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you guys. All right, click continue. See, there you go. Now I fixed the connection between the database. You see I get the spawn location. Once you get to this point, you pretty much know you're in the clear. You click spawn as Kavala. But bam, I spawned. And as you can see, if I can do that, alrighty. As you can see now, you got a fully functioning Arma 3 Altis live server. You got, you know, the My Gang, you got all this good stuff. You got the permanent gangs, you got the housing, if I'm correct. I can't buy that house. But anyways, there you go. That was a quick, simple setup for a dedicated server. Some of the applications can still be applied to a regular server, but the config files and stuff, I'll put a link in the tutorial on the one I kind of based off of. But anyways, yeah, there you go. There's your 3.1.4 extDB build, Altis Live server. Alrighty guys, I hope to see you guys next time, maybe for another tutorial on Altis Live, who knows. Anyways, see you guys next time.